Hello, brilliant entrepreneur. It's Tash Corbin here, and welcome to another episode of the Heart-Centered Business Podcast. This is episode number 216, which means you can find all the relevant links and show notes over at tashcorbin.com/216. In today's episode, we are answering the question, is your niche narrow enough? And I'm going to give you some signs and pieces of information to look out for that will help you tell whether your niche is actually narrow enough or if you need to do some refinement. So let's dive in because this is a really practical one. I'm Tash Corbin, and this is the Heart-Centered Business Podcast. So first and foremost, what is your niche? Your niche is the specific group of people that you focus on when you are marketing in your business. So a lot of people get very confused about niching and they mistake their niche for their modality or their specialist area. They're not people, so they're not niches. A niche is the specific group of people that you're focusing on. The other thing that I see people do is that they try and articulate their niche as all the people that could benefit from their services. And whilst I understand that we do have very broad groups of people that could benefit from our services and the transformation that we facilitate, that doesn't help you when it comes to getting specific in your marketing. So we want to make sure that when we select a niche, we're not just selecting who you could help, but in fact, who you are focusing on when you market your products and services. Your niche actually is the foundation of your business that informs the other critical decisions that you need to make, such as your messaging, your value proposition, your offer, how you package up your products and services, as well as your marketing strategy and the channels that you select. So the more specific your niche is, the easier it is for you to make those decisions about what does your message need to convey, what should your offer be, and how do you talk about the value proposition of that offer and the problem that it solves. What channels should you be focusing on when it comes to marketing your products and services, and what marketing strategy is going to be most effective for those people. So you can see by just making that one critical decision, that foundational decision of who am I focusing on when I am marketing, that you can therefore inform all of the other really important decisions that you have to make as an entrepreneur. So that actually gives us a clue on how to tell if your niche is narrow enough. And I have 3 key areas where if your niche isn't narrow enough, you're really going to struggle. So if you're struggling with any of these areas, my number one piece of advice is review your niche. So number 1 is your messaging. Can you articulate your tangible and practical value proposition? And when I say tangible, I mean, can you talk about the transformation that you facilitate, in tangible ways that impact on me today? So a great example of this is doing an energetic clearing. So whilst it might be really lovely that you are able to do an energetic clearing and it makes me feel better, if there isn't a very real and measurable difference to my life today, then you're going to struggle to have me convinced that I should be giving you money for that particular outcome. So you want to be able to really clearly define what it is that you stand for, what the core message of your business is, and the tangible and practical value proposition of working with you. So the value proposition is, what is the difference between before I work with you and after I work with you? That is the value proposition. And if that value proposition is clear, relevant to my current needs, and is a bigger value proposition than the amount of money you're asking for in return, then your messaging is going to really resonate and it's going to have people saying, yes, that's what I need. Shut up and take my money. So that's number 1. If you are struggling with your messaging, if you're struggling to articulate what you do in a way that's tangible and real for people and relevant and actually speaks to a challenge I'm facing right now, then I would be reviewing your niche. And I also like to look out for in the messaging stuff the word or, the word maybe or any of the slashes, right? No slashes here. So if I say to you, what is it? What's your value proposition? Who do you help or how do you help them? If you find yourself saying, well, I can help people with this or that. I help this kind of person or that kind of person. I can help you if you have this slash that. Maybe they're going on through this. Maybe they're going through that. If you're using lots of maybes and ors and slashes, then chances are that the actual problem is that you have not been specific enough with your niche. So that's number one, is your messaging. Number two is your offer. So if you struggle to articulate your offer in a very specific way that solves a specific and tangible problem, then number one, you're going to struggle to sell it. And number two, chances are you have not been specific enough with your niche. Now, a great way to measure whether your offer is specific and tangible enough is, does it sell? When you have conversations with people about working with you, are you actually making sales? When you post about your offers on social media, do you have people saying, oh my goodness, that's exactly what I've been needing? Or do you have people saying, oh, that sounds really lovely? Because that sounds really lovely, whilst a lovely compliment to receive, does not say, yes, I've nailed that specific and tangible problem that I solve. So if you are struggling to really get specific with your offer, if you're struggling to decide on what you should offer, then what I would say is, step one, go back and review your niche and make it more specific. Number three is your marketing. So the question to answer here is it 100% clear to you where and how you should be marketing? Have you got 100% clarity on exactly what your marketing strategy should be? If not, chances are that you actually don't have a specific enough niche. So if you are still tossing up between Facebook and Instagram and TikTok and LinkedIn and all of the other channels that you could possibly be marketing on, then chances are you haven't actually got really specific about your niche. Because when you are specific about your niche, it's really clear where you should be focusing your energy and attention on in the first place. And particularly in the how to market as well. So not just where in terms of channels, because I know even if you have a very specific niche, a portion of them might be on Instagram, and a portion of them might be on Facebook, but there usually is definitely a front runner. But it's also the how to market. So people come to me and they say, should I be doing a webinar or should I do a free ebook as my freebie? If you can't answer that question yourself, when I say back to you, what would your ideal client prefer? Then it may be a clue that your niche is not narrow enough and you need to get more specific. So you can see how that one decision of your niche can really inform all of the other parts of your marketing and messaging and your products and services. And it is such a critical foundation. This is why when I work with people, either as VIPs or in my takeoff program or in any other space where I'm supporting people with their businesses, the first thing we work on is niching. The first part of that business value proposition that we work on is getting that niche clear because it informs all of the other decisions. It literally is the first foundational decision. And yet, so many people are more worried about their branding and their marketing and what social media they should be on and what would the title of their book be and all of these other sorts of things first, and they do all of that in an unniched way, and then they have to go back and change it because when it doesn't work and it doesn't create that organic momentum of its own, they recognize, oh, I haven't actually been speaking to a specific niche with my marketing. The other thing I want to say for anyone who is deep in niche resistance, which is totally real and everyone goes through it, is to just give yourself the gift of maybe 60 days. Even if for the next 60 days you focus down on a very specific niche and you just saw what it felt like and saw how much easier it made your business and marketing decisions, then I'm convinced that after 60 days, you would be able to either clarify, no, I haven't quite got it right, I'm going to pivot my niche in a specific way, or yep, it's absolutely working, I'm going to keep going with this niche. I have never, ever, ever in all of my time working with thousands of entrepreneurs, worked with someone on their niche, and then after their 60 days of trying their niching and getting very specific, have them say, no, I just want it to be really broad again. So what happens is when people really get that niche right, and when they see how much easier it makes life when they have niched, they are converts. They are like screaming from the rooftops, listen to Auntie Tash. She knows what she's talking about. I was in niche resistance as well, and now I'm not, because I can see how much easier it makes it for me to create my marketing strategy, to get clear on my messaging, and to craft offers that really do sell like hotcakes and resonate with the right people. So I hope this has been helpful for you. A few signs to tell whether your niche is narrow enough. And I wanted to leave you with one last question. And that one last question that I have for you is, are you becoming known for the work that you do and who you do it with? If you have been promoting your business for a few months or even a couple of years, and when other people are asked, what is it that she does, people cannot answer that question clearly, then that is also a big alarm bell to go back to the drawing board and get specific with your niche. Now, the beautiful thing about this is that it's always a great time to review. I consistently review my niching decisions in my business. Every quarter, I have it as part of my CEO date with myself to look at my niching and see where I may need to adjust a little or where I may need to refine some more. And the beautiful thing is that even when I've made decisions to niche that have been the wrong niche, I have realized that and got clarity on what the right niche is so much faster than if I had just stayed unniched. The resistance to niching for a lot of people is this worry that maybe they won't have as many clients, or maybe they'll have to turn some people away, or maybe it will mean that they get less inquiries because they're focused on something that's way more specific. But the reality is that when you become really specific, you instantly get insight into whether that's the right niche or not. So rather than staying unniched and continuing to run around and around and around in circles trying to work out how to grow your business, it is much more powerful to focus down on something narrow and then adjust it as you go and keep making those minor nudges and those little shifts and really refining, because the whole time you are actually moving forward instead of being stuck in unniched round and round in circles. So if you're not becoming known for your work and who you work with, then that's also a clue that potentially your foundations need some work. So I've got a really amazing free resource for you, and I'm actually going to link to 2 of them in the show notes of this particular podcast episode. The first one is called Fast Track Your Startup, and Fast Track Your Startup is my free training that helps you to understand how niche actually informs messaging, offer, and your marketing decisions, and also how to make those decisions really quickly so that you can start making money and getting consistent clients in the door as quickly and effectively and easily as possible. So I've got that one for you, but I also have a new freebie that is going to be released in August. So as soon as it's released, it will be linked up in the show notes, and it's called Nail Your Niche. And that is a specific training because in the fast track process, most people get stuck on niching. So I now have a specific, even deeper free training for you that goes through all of the details on how to identify whether you've got a clear enough niche or not, the importance of how your niche decisions are going to impact on other parts of your business, and the 5 core niche decisions that you need to make if you're going to market online. So I've got it right down to the things you need to focus on and things you don't need to focus on. And I've really made it clear for you in this training. It's absolutely free for you to access, and I will pop the link to it in the show notes of today's episode. Thank you so much for joining me today. Until next time, I cannot wait to see you shine. Big love from me, and bye for now. Would you like more tips, tools, and resources to help you grow your heart-centered business? Head to tashcorbin.com today.